You're listening to the Government Mule podcast, a production of the Tulsa County Clerk's Office in Oklahoma.
Here we are. First
Inaugural episode of whatever we're going to call this, the Government Mule or the County Mule or the Mule Cast. We're going to get it figured out.
The Mule Cast. I think
we're
that's
going to
pretty
get it figured out.
I do like the Mule.
So for all of the single-digit number of watchers and listeners that will consume this podcast, this is our inaugural podcast here in the Tulsa County podcast studio. Mm-hmm. And so I'm County Clerk Michael Willis. I'm joined by
Maggie Cooksey.
Maggie Cooksey, who is actually in her last day of full-time employment with the Tulsa County Clerk's Office. She's been our community engagement manager for the last several years, and she's about to move off and do another adventure, but she's going to be part-time with us. She's not leaving us completely. We'll see her back here from time to time. We joke this might be called the exit interview. We could call this podcast that for sure. We're going to talk about several things. One thing I want to start talking about is, so about this time last year, we were at a conference and we started talking about podcasting at Tulsa County. So, Maggie, tell me what you think in terms of our experience at that conference, some of the things we picked up, and that kind of thing.
Well, that was the Government Social Media Conference, which is by far one of my favorite conferences that I've gotten to go to in my time at Tulsa County. But I remember you specifically coming to me and being like, what do you think if we started a podcast? And I was like, that would be awesome and also a lot of work. And as evidenced by this team and like how hard they've worked and how we've but how we get to expand the team in order to like bring this to life has been really cool, because we have, a really strong team of, folks behind the scenes. But I think you had just come off of a podcast from Co-File. Mm-hmm. And you got the, bitten by the podcast bug. And I had like a few criticisms, I think, of that podcast, just the vibe of it. And that was really the main focus for me, was creating a space that was conversational and comfy. And like, I really think that we brought that to life here. But yeah, I think as far as having this is, I think, going to make county government a little bit more human for people. And there's a huge benefit to that, because, you see things on the media and specifically like news channel things and social media even, I feel like, is getting a little bit more difficult to decipher what's real, what's not real. But whenever you sit down and have a face-to-face conversation with somebody, I think that carries a lot more weight than listening to news. We can talk about the same thing in this conversation that could potentially be a news story or whatever, and delivering it in this medium, I think, is going to be something that changes the way that people in Tulsa County understand their local government. So I'm super excited about it. I'm really proud of this team. They've done a killer job, and I feel really honored to be the first guest. Thank you.
It just worked out that, I kind of insisted about a week ago that we do this, and we do have an incredible team, but I do want to interrupt and just say that we don't normally wear hats in the Tulsa County Clerk's Office. We did a hat day. This is probably the only hat day in the history of the Tulsa County Clerk's Office, and maybe the only one we ever do, but we did it in honor of Maggie's last day of being a full-time employee with us. So, you probably won't see me or Maggie or other guests in hats. Maybe you will, I don't know, but it is hat day in the Tulsa County Clerk's Office. About half, maybe a little more than half of our staff are participating. We'll put some pictures up. You'll see it on the Insta and the Facebook and some of the county social media probably. But so I want to talk a little bit about how you made your way to the county clerk's office. Maggie and I share a little bit of shared kind of upbringing. Maggie's originally from St. Louis. She moved down here. I'll let her tell you about that here in a minute. But anyway, talk about public service, Mag, because one of the things we want to do and cover in this podcast, at least what I want to do, is highlight public service, whether it's in Tulsa County, other counties that may not have the resources that we have to be able to highlight some of these things. So Maggie, talk about your path to public service.
Well, where do you want me to start with that?
I don't know. How did you get to Tulsa? Let's start by how you got to Tulsa.
Okay. Well, I moved down here to take an internship. I was at Victory Christian Center, I think is what they're called still. Is ministry internships called IMT, which I don't think exists anymore, but it was full-time ministry. And part of that was going to Victory's college. It was VBI at the time, over off of 81st and Lewis, I believe. And then, full-time ministry, working at the church. Made some of the best friends I've had there, really formative for me. And then when that ended, I got married pretty quick after that, and got a job at Ida Red, a local shop here in town. They've got now 3 stores. And then I did that for about 7 years, helped build that business, had a lot of great times there. That's really what rooted me in Tulsa, because that store is very much about celebrating being from Tulsa and all of the cool history things of Tulsa, like putting, businesses that have gone away on coasters and things that connect people to the past of Tulsa and, all of that stuff. And so I learned a lot about this community through the work there, the arts community, all of that. And then got to a little bit of a fork in the road of what was next for me, kind of get that itch, and from there I started a farm, which is so opposite, but
speaking of rooted in Tulsa.
Yes. Yeah.
Started a farm.
Yeah. Started a farm. It was called Wits End Farm. And it took me to my wits' end for sure. I call those my Job days, because I was out there just toiling in the field. It was very rough. But yeah, small scale, 1/4 of an acre farm. The whole idea was to make it a workshop farm and teach people in food deserts how to grow their own food, but then also use it as something that generates, an income to keep it going. So did that, then COVID hit, and there was no market. So when you have perishable items and no market, it just kind of killed it. So from there, I was like, I need something that's steady and just very low-key, simple for me to do to kind of get back in the swing of things, because that really did take a lot from me, the farm. It was some of my hardest years, I would say, in career things. And then I applied to be a taxpayer services person in the assessor's office. And I did that for a little bit, and there that itch came again where I was like, this is not enough. I need to be more involved. And the assessor's office is, I think, one of the most interesting functions of county government, as far as just the methodology that they use and the science behind all of it, or the mathematics maybe behind all of it. It's, I was happy to be in that office and learn what that was, how they appraise property and all of that is super interesting. Gets my nerdy brain going. And so an opening came with the executive assistant position, and I applied for that and got that, and was John Wright's executive assistant for a year, and then was like, I need more. And started looking at what was open, and interviewed for the PIO position. And I think through that, is how you came to know that I was, open to opportunities. And then you had an opening in your office with promoting Crystal. And then, I applied for this gig and here I am. So is that kind of, does that lay the timeline?
That was your path and road through public service. And while, third time I'm saying this is Maggie's last day as a full-time employee with us, she'll continue on and help us with some ideas on stuff we're working on. Mm-hmm. She helps me a lot with my duties as being the president of the Clerks Association this year. Mm-hmm. So she's going to continue to help me with some of that stuff. And I'm sure that Maggie's full-time public service road has not ended. I'm sure at some point you'll pick that back up at some point. But let's talk a little bit more about the job and about the county clerk's office and some of the things that you've impacted with us. So I'll start and hand it off to you.
Okay.
Maggie really, I use this term around here a lot, but Maggie really helped increase our horsepower as it relates to community relations. And certainly our social media is a totally different game today. I joke with people, and I mean this, Maggie's done a phenomenal job with her social media, but sometimes I get kind of irritated with her ideas. And so, we had one day that she said, Michael, if you've got time, come out to the fairgrounds. We're going to do a promo video for our fair booth. And I'm like, okay, that sounds fine. So what do you want me to do? And she said, well, I'm going to blindfold you and we're going to have a bunch of people walk around and you're going to hold your camera out or your phone out. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I won't say all the words that I said in the office, but we got out to the fairgrounds. She drugged me out there. So one thing that Maggie's done a phenomenal job at is getting me probably a little bit out of my comfort zone. A lot of people know we like to have a lot of fun in the county clerk's office because, while we can't pay our employees a whole lot of money or offer some of the private sector things, we do have a great family atmosphere and we try to have as much fun as we can have while also being as professional and getting our jobs done as well as we can. But Maggie's pulled me out of my comfort zone a few different times. So she's done a phenomenal job with our events. She's done a phenomenal job, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, during relationships with our veterans community, which is very important to me. In fact, I wore my coffee bunker lapel pin today.
Oh, nice.
Thinking about that.
Shout out to Coffee Bunker.
Coffee Bunker is a great resource for our veterans.
Yeah, I love those guys.
And so talk about some of your favorite things that you've done over the few years you've been with us.
Well, I want to just make one comment about the blindfold thing. I would like to say that I led with the box idea. You remember this?
Idea.
There's a
refresh
trend,
my memory.
There's this trend on social media going on that was like the first frame was somebody throwing a box, and the trend was, well, there's different iterations of it, but essentially the person, then it switches over to the person that's supposed to catch the box or the box is supposed to hit them in the
Yes, I remember, yeah.
And then this iteration that I pitched to you was that like just more boxes kept coming while you were being like, please come see us at the fair so I stop getting hit by all these boxes. And you're like, no.
Yeah, I vetoed that one.
Yeah, which I was like, I thought you would say no. Like, I've really gotten to know your tolerance level for things. So I was like, I think if I leave with that one, he'll be cool with the blindfold one seems less scary, right? Or like less embarrassing.
Less embarrassing. That was probably the key.
Yeah.
Embarrassment.
So, that was, I think that's why.
And we got a lot of engagement with that.
Yeah.
With that. And Maggie runs our fair booth, or has run our fair booth for the last few years. And has done a great job with it. But
and people don't typically go to the fair to like learn about county government, but we make the most of it. So, I think one of my favorites, or let me think about this for a second. I think one of the proudest moments I've had is clerk school last year, for sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was, you set the theme for the conference. And just a little background, County Clerk School is an annual educational conference, and clerks and clerk employees, their deputies come from all across the state. And we have a good time. And last year you set the theme as Clerks Rock. And from there, like the creativity of all of that was like so exciting for me. And I think the first thing that you said was like, I want to create like a concert poster or something.
Yeah.
To kind of like tease the whole idea. And so once that was created, it was just like, okay, backstage passes, and we're going to make the like tickets look like concert tickets that you can perforate the things off to use. And I mean, it just kind of went wild from there. We did a band t-shirt with the back like tour dates and all of that. So
county clerks from across Oklahoma still wear our Clerks Rock t-shirt. I still, when I'm at different places around the state and talking to some of my colleagues, still get people who ask, "Hey, are you going to order some more of those shirts? Could we get another one of those shirts?" So we haven't done that yet. Again, we've done 2 runs of orders, I think, so far. Yeah. So we could, but anyway, we've got another conference coming up, but that one was incredible. And I'm sometimes good at coming up with big ideas, but I'm not always the best at all the details and the follow through. And so one of the reasons Maggie and I have made such an incredible team over the last several years is because she'll take some of my silly ideas and run and add different elements to them that I hadn't even thought of at the beginning. So that conference did turn out. Yeah. I mean, it rocked. It was awesome. We had walk-up music for everyone.
Yeah. I was DJing on the side.
Yeah.
I don't know how I became the DJ, but I felt bad for the guy next to me because I kept being like, no, turn it down. Like he was actually supposed to be the AV guy. And I kind of, I was like, I'm sorry, I just made myself your boss. But I'm a little bit like, when it comes to the execution of things, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. But not so much that I can't like be flexible. But when it came to the walk-up music, I was like, I knew it was important to you.
It was.
And so, I was kind of a stickler to that guy. Yeah, I think that was like just the amount of work that all went into it. And then to see it go so flawlessly, like there really weren't I can't think of a moment that I was like, this isn't what I wanted, or like, this isn't going according to plan. And I think in some of the other events, there are moments like that I carry with me away from it, from the event. And I didn't feel that at all at clerk school last year. So
great.
It was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Let me think.
We'll talk about your engagement with the veterans community, because we've been doing that for a long time. And so for those who don't know or recognize, county clerks across Oklahoma and really most of the country have the ability to record military discharge papers for free on behalf of our veterans. So a veteran or their family member can bring a DD-214 form into our office, and we record that for free. We'll give them as many certified copies as they want for them and their family. And it's just a neat service. You know, the veterans and their families will ultimately need those forms, whether the veteran needs healthcare assistance, other assistance from the Veterans Affairs Administration, or, anything like that. So housing assistance, other things that are going on. So people will need a copy of those. A lot of the times the veterans may lose those, or they may file them away and forget where they are. So if they have them in the office, they can call us. We can provide copies when they need. It's a really great service, and we're proud to support our veterans. Yeah. But Maggie has really taken our show on the road in the last few years, and we've done a lot more to engage that community. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. The veteran community is it gets me choked up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't think I would cry this early.
Oh, that's all right, Maggie.
Jeez, come on. I love those people.
That's all right. I'm a sympathetic crier, so if you cry too much, then I'll start crying. Then this whole podcast will be, you'll have to shuck it. We'll do a lot more editing.
I didn't think that we would need tissues in here, but I think it's definitely something to have around.
Yeah.
Especially like if you have a guest that like you're grilling and they're like sweating. They're like,
Yeah, true. I'm going to do some of that.
tell me what you did with that ARPA money. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Exactly.
No, okay. So the veterans, yeah, incredible people. The people that I know from the VFW, good-hearted people. And I think that with any community or organization or mission, there is the temptation to want to, gain control and gain power of something to, manipulate that community or whoever to kind of like lend itself to your wants and all of that type of stuff. I don't see that with the veteran community here. Specifically, the guys at the VFW, Josh Starks, Dan Fuller, Chris Rockenstein, those guys, like their heart is to serve veterans. And you can see it in the work at the parade. Like you can see it of them contacting us and being like, do you have this DD-214? They'll bring DD-214s up for veterans to record for them. They're just wholehearted people. And they deserve like everything, as far
Agreed.
as like they deserve their flowers or their accolades. But as far as my engagement with them, part of my position is to coordinate the county as a whole's involvement in the Veterans Day Parade, which has a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
How many employees does Tulsa County have?
Oh, shoot. I think we're
Close to
around between 15 and 1,600 full-time.
I thought it was way more than that. But trying to communicate to 1,500 people that they're invited to come walk with us, and then those that do come walk with us, getting them all of the information so they're at the right place at the right time, because there's a lot happening downtown on that day. But seeing the veterans in the crowd, seeing the kids with their signs and like all that, that'll get any proud American.
Yes.
Their heart thumping,
100%.
Yeah.
I tell people routinely that Veterans Day in downtown Tulsa is probably my favorite day of the year.
Yeah. You can keep Christmas and Thanksgiving and like, although I do love stuffing, like there's nothing better than that. There really isn't.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we spend the whole day at the VFW that day.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to see, I think it was, last year, this past Veterans Day, there was a World War II veteran there.
Yes.
And he was there the previous year.
Not many of those left.
Yeah. No. And, kindest person I think I've ever met, like just a genuine guy. So, aside from that, like my like more routine messaging, and like, my daily type of thoughts or like the things that I try to communicate is the DD-214 and the importance of that. Because we've seen quite a few, veteran spouses or veterans themselves trying to get access to this document. Veteran spouses are one of the hardest to see, like to interact with, because most of the time when that happens, it's the veteran's spouse that's trying to get their, honors for their husband or wife at their funeral. And that person's already going through such a difficult time. And when we don't have that record to supply them because it was never recorded in the office and we have to turn them away, it's like heartbreaking.
Helpless moment.
It's
I remember
heartbreaking.
Literally, I think my second week on the job as county clerk in January of 2017, I was out at the recording desk trying to learn, and that exact scenario happened.
Mm-hmm.
A little, a woman who was fairly elderly came in the office, at that point, you had to be a customer in our office. You either had to walk in from somewhere else downtown, you had to pay to park. It was $10 at the time. This is before we had free parking. But this woman had paid $10. I know she wasn't excited about being downtown anyway. Certainly, and her husband had passed away. So she was sad. Right. And she went through security at the courthouse, walked through the courthouse to get to our office, walked to the front desk in hopes that we would have exactly what she needed. So her husband could then have the military honors. I think he was an Army vet at his funeral service. And it was absolutely heartbreaking that we did not have that document. Yeah. It hadn't been recorded in the office, and they had not lived in another county or anything like that. So we offered to call, some of the surrounding counties in case they might have it. And she said, no, that wouldn't be it. And, at the time, and we still tell people this, I think the VA might be a little quicker than they used to be. But back then, you were talking about a 6 to 8 week minimum turnaround to get a new copy of that DD-214. And of course, in that time frame, with most families, they have to go ahead and do the service without that. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, and I think now the VA, and I could be wrong about this, but from my experience with the VA, they supply copies. They don't, they can supply an original, but most of the time when you're looking for something, they'll just print you out a copy of it.
Yeah.
But it's not certified, and essentially that certified document has the same authority as the original, which is why we require an original to be recorded.
Right.
But yeah, I've seen veterans also who had their original, lost it, and then requested a replacement, got the replacement that was missing parts of their accomplishments in the military. But because they recorded it in our office, they then had the proof to go back to the VA and say, you left these things off. Yeah. Here's a certified copy. They wanted a tangible, physical original. So that's been cool. It's cool to get to talk to people about that. And it's very rewarding when somebody actually brings the document in to record, because you're like, yes. So Dan Fuller, actually, a few weeks ago.
Shout out to brother Dan Fuller.
Yes, we love you, Dan. He is a past post commander of the VFW here in Tulsa, post 577.
And a retired sergeant from the Tulsa Police Department.
Yes.
I did 12 years as a reserve with TPD, and Dan supervised me a lot of the time and kept me in and out of trouble. Yeah, Dan's
that's awesome.
Great. We worked a lot of events together. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, he is a character. He loves, what is it, Copperhead Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy loves that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to see him perform,
we're gonna have him on the podcast too.
Yeah. You just turn that on and he just starts dancing. So, which if you know Dan at all, he's like a very stoic man, and so yeah, that's how you loosen him up. But anyways, he came in just a few weeks ago to record his DD-214, and I was like, finally, I bothered you enough.
Yeah.
I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to work with that community.
Well, you really upped our game. We did some stuff with veterans. We've done Veterans Day Parade for a long time, and we, try to get it out in the community that we provide this service to veterans. But Maggie's kind of taken it a step further for us in terms of making appointments to go to the coffee bunker and do some mobile recording. We've recorded a few DD-214s out in the community. We want to start doing more of that. That's really been an initiative that Maggie's helped put together. So we appreciate everything you've done for upping our game in the veterans world, and we'll continue to work on that when you're off doing your next thing.
Yeah. I think technology needs to catch up with what our ideas are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the best. And I think anytime that you can divert people from having to come downtown and you can bring the office into their communities, that's
And that's something we've been talking about for a while. We're working on. We have some avenues to be able to do that through our friend Don Newberry, the court clerk.
Yes.
He has a satellite office in Broken Arrow. We're going to be using that at some point to do some mobile stuff out there and some other parts in the community. So, that'll be good.
Yeah.
What else do you want to talk about, Mag? Should we talk about all of the nicknames you've gathered over the years? I mean, I just call you Mag sometimes. I know that might be irritating, but a bunch of people in the office have a bunch of different nicknames for you.
Yeah. Mag. Sometimes you call me Maggie.
Yes, because your middle initial is L.
L,
so
yeah.
Maggie.
Whiskey Mike, is that a nickname? Or is that more of like a...
It's the phonetic of where's Maggie.
Yes.
So, the W and the M, Whiskey Mike, and pilot and aircraft lingo.
And then Jim Ray calls me Special. Yeah. I think it's because he thought that I was like a special projects manager or something for the longest time. And he would come by and be like, "What's up, Special?" And I'm like, I don't know if that's an insult.
Right.
Like, are you saying,
What are you saying, Jim?
Yeah. What are you saying, Jim?
Yeah.
But, what other ones do you know of?
Well, I mean, Krista calls you her beautiful friend, but she calls everyone that.
Yeah, she does.
And you're her neighbor in the office. And so
she does call me Magenta sometimes.
Magenta has been one that I think you don't like.
I had to cut that off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I actually really hate that color.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I didn't know." And then she did it a few more times, and then she was like, "I'm so sorry, I keep doing it." So yeah, I think we finally hit the curve where she's out of that.
We got that squared away. Now that you're leaving, that's all squared away. One other thing I want to mention is, every year we have a bit of a uniform policy in the county clerk's office where we have some logo to wear that we sell logoed wear as part of our charitable giving campaign every year, where our office joins in with the county and we do a lot of stuff with United Way and a lot of their charities. And so Maggie's wearing a beautiful Tulsa County Clerk vest that she commissioned for us. I'm wearing a hat, the Tulsa County Clerk logo on it, and generally every year towards the end of the year, I will try to buy the staff some sort of wearable. And, we've already named Maggie's replacement. Yeah. She's in the room right next to us. And we're having a handoff meeting this afternoon. And we got to talk a little bit about wearables because Cody will will take your place. And we may ask you for some assistance, at the end of this year. Maggie's been great at putting our county clerk's office wearables together, making us a little more professional and kind of squared away.
Yeah, I think that's pulling in some of my Ida Red experience as well, because I did a lot of that at Ida Red, being like, okay, we have all of this artwork. What would it look the best on? Because some things look really great on a coffee mug, and some things look really great on a hat.
Yeah.
These vests, though, I mean, you wanted to do these vests, what was it, year before last?
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, and then...
They turned out really good.
They turned out really good, but, they were Christmas vests at first, and then they were, Happy New Year's vests, and then they were it's spring, here's some vests.
We finally got them done. Yeah, it took a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah. No, I think that's, really important for the office. I know that it is for me. It becomes, it helps you feel like you're a part of something when you, not only see other people wearing, office logo stuff, but, I just think it helps people feel like they belong, and it may just be a very subconscious thing. But yeah, when you wear a logo, you're identifying that you are supporting this thing. And so,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Also, our logos are really cool. So
they are cool.
Yeah.
I mean, for government stuff,
we
try to do as best we can.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have to go with a low bidder, We have very limited funds.
We use a local print shop.
Use local print shops when we can.
We use, I mean, the stuff that I've done, I feel like there's two different initiatives within the office. We have Jen, who does a lot of logo stuff as well. So shout out to Jen. Yeah.
And most of that is our sales for United Way and charitable giving.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then all of the stuff that I think I've printed or had printed for the office is I've tried to prioritize local.
Yeah.
Because we have great, we have great companies here in Tulsa.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, I did want to talk a little bit about our social media strategy.
Yeah, let's do it.
And how that has evolved over the years, I think. So whenever I first started in this position, I think it like took a little bit of like figuring you out of like what, you're an elected official and social media is something that can make or break you for sure. I think we've seen some examples of that just in our own community. And there's a line to kind of walk there, but I think over the years I've had these like moments where I'm like, oh, we should totally do this, we should do that. And it wasn't until I think last year at the government social media conference where I think we all kind of aligned on the idea that making personality-driven content that really focuses on the storytelling of the people who are doing the work is the thing that's going to, pierce through all of the noise that people scroll through on their feeds. But and I think it was that was it the Ohio Department of no, not Ohio.
Idaho. Utah?
I think it was the Utah.
I think you're right. It was Utah.
Yeah, their Department of Transportation. They had a great session. And one of the things that they really leaned into was using humor to educate. And I think that's the path that we've kind of leaned into. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Sometimes, it flops, even though it's like a great idea. And sometimes the things that you don't think are going to do very well do great. So it's a fun game for sure. And I want to thank you for trusting me with telling the story of the office.
Yes, for sure. Well, I know that we've tried to do this over the years, tell the story in the office, because frankly, most people probably, if they know anything about the county clerk's office at all, they know that that's where they go to record a deed, or that's where they go to do some research on their grandparents' house that they owned in 1973. But they don't know about all the other stuff that we do. And the human element is really important because we strive to have impeccable customer service. And I think most of the time we achieve that. I tell people that we know we have a monopoly on your land records and every other service that we do, but I am elected. I can be unelected. If we don't do a good job, probably I should be. But the human element has been something that I've tried to put into our social media since I started. Again, like with most things, when Maggie started, she added more horsepower to that. I remember during COVID, we did a little Facebook post called Everyday Essential because everyone was talking about essential employees. So we just started going down the list and we just took a picture. I mean, it was very elementary, but this is me doing this and not Maggie or a pro that does social media all the time. But we just took pictures and we did a little snippet about what our employees do. And as I've been out in the community, even today, I will still get people who'll say, I had no idea that you all do the payroll for the county.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't seen that picture of one of your employees that does that, I would have no idea. And they routinely tell me how grateful they are that we highlight our employees. And we try to put we try to show the county and the state and everyone who will watch and listen what all we do. And we do really have a phenomenal team.
Yeah.
And just the bottom line.
Yeah.
They're great.
I think I would be remiss if I don't talk about Kenner Week.
We talked about this before we even started today.
Yeah. And, Kenner is...
Kenner Yates is our chief of staff.
Yeah.
And when I'm out of town, or if I have something else going on, or if anything ever happened to me or whatever, then Kenner is the acting county clerk.
Right. So Kenner Week, our payroll group is typically the ones who start the shenanigans around the office. And when I say shenanigans, I don't mean that as like, oh, we're just running amok. But it's like subtle little things that bring life to the office.
Yeah.
And they went around the office and told everybody individually, hey, when you cross paths with Kenner, say, hey, happy Kenner Week, because I think you were out of town that week. And so he was the acting clerk.
And the background, the additional piece of background is Kenner is a very humble,
he hates
straight-laced person who does not seek any attention at all.
Yes. He hates the spotlight. He hates getting his picture taken. He wants to come and go under the radar. So yeah, you were out of town. The directive was, if you see Kenner, say, hey, happy Kenner Week. To the point where it was starting to make him a little crazy. He's like, what is going on? And, I pulled video clips of everybody together for like an internal video of Kenner Week. And then as the week progresses, it just becomes something else, because that's how it goes sometimes. So by the end of the week, I think it was that Friday, Kenner's office was decorated like a kingdom, because I think Annette had sent you a text that was like, when are you coming back? Like, he's making us call him King Kenner. Like, he's office rocker.
Yeah.
Which was not true, that he wasn't making us call him King Kenner. But yeah, his office was decorated like a throne and a castle and whatever, and they had like a robe for him.
We didn't use any county funds to decorations. These all came from Annette.
Well, and they all came in on their free time after hours to decorate the office and all of that. And Annette has everything for everything. That's her superpower.
Yes. Agree.
But he has, I'm not sure if it's like a souvenir bat, but he had a bat that was in his office, and that was his, like, what is that called? Like a scepter? Yes. Yeah. And then, we did like a King Kenner parade where we were all like, you just can't, like, you can't really find that anywhere else, as far as people who are just going to like let something snowball into like a memory that's like.
Yes. One you'll always remember. Yeah. Yes, we've had several of those times when our former chief deputy, Tom, before he left and left Kenner to be the stand-in king, they made a lot of fun of him too, and had a lot of fun with Tom. And Tom, Tom and Kenner are fairly easy to make fun of.
They are.
In lots of different ways. We have, I've said this a minute ago, we have an incredible team in the county clerk's office. Maggie is certainly part and parcel of that. So we've been doing this for a while, and we're both kind of starting to cry. But before we finish up, tell us what your next step is and what's going on, and then we'll close out this first episode of the exit interview / county mule / government mule / whatever we're going to end up calling this podcast.
So I am going to be moving to St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands. My sister owns some businesses out there, and she's had a rough go of it with some personnel things. And I'm hearing her tell me all of that, and she's a really good woman. So
you're headed to the island.
mhm.
You're going to help run some businesses, not something that is outside of your area of expertise, because you have a bunch of experience doing that. Now you have a bunch of experience working with a bunch of government mules like me.
Yeah.
But you're going to get to come back to Tulsa sometimes, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it's like a really sweet gig, honestly. It's 3 months on, 1 month off. So I will be back in Tulsa every quarter, or wherever, anywhere. But I thought it would be really fun to crash like a PRIA conference or something. If you guys on one of my months off or like in, Buffalo or wherever it might be. To just pop up there and be like, hi, I know that I am not registered for this conference, but like, I want to come hang. I think that's also something that's really cool is like all the friends that you make at conferences from other areas. But yeah, I will be kind of around, like, and I think that's the thing that's really helped center me in making this decision, because this is like a really special thing.
Yeah.
To like walk away from.
Yeah. Well.
Stop making me cry, Michael.
I didn't mean to.
I know. Yeah, the tissue thing is definitely going to have to happen in here.
We'll get some tissues in here for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any final words before we log off?
Clerk like a champion.
Clerk like a champion. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
For my mom and the other 5 people who will probably watch this.
Oh, yeah, your mom is going to share it so fast.
We'll see. I don't even think she's ever seen a podcast, so we'll see.
Well, but that Facebook post, it's like,
oh man,
immediate.
You can count
Kathy
on her.
Willis.
You can count on Kathy.
Yeah.
All right, we're logging off here, team. Thanks, everybody. Clerk like a champion.